Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another day, another week, another episode of 30 NSG. On today's show, we're going to be talking about Kotaku editor-in-chief exits due to parent company's new guide and directive. We're going to talk about Dragon Dogma 2 launches mostly negative review bombing after microtransaction reveal, and man, what a bummer is what comes from Windows Central. We're also going to talk about why $183 billion video game industry can't quit microtransactions. And we have a couple of other stories as well. If you like what we do here, please make sure you hit that like button, hit the subscribe button. If you'd like to go above and beyond that, become a member as little as $5. We cover news stories, have conversations with live chat, and I make breakout videos to put up on our channel for our live channel 30 NSG, which you're watching right now. So you have content if you don't want to watch this live stuff. The difference between the live show and the uploads is that the live show, after I do the breakout video, we have conversations and stuff with live chat about the actual topic, where if you watch this after the fact, one, obviously you won't be able to interact with me, or two, if you watch the breakout video, you won't see the other stuff that we talk about after each of the stories. So appreciate it very much. Hope everyone had a great weekend. This weekend, I went on a little mini vacation. We went on a tour of our state capital up in Florida. Went to Tallahassee. That was fun. Lots of education there. I love learning about something new every single day, so I got to learn. I've never been in this state for 24 years, 30 years. Holy shit! No, 30 years. No, 40 years. 41 years. And I've been to Tallahassee. A couple times, but that was for college parties, not to go to the state capitol. And then I also watched the movie Air this weekend with Matt Damon, Ben Affleck, about the story about the Nike shoes, about how they signed Michael Jordan and stuff. Good film. Really good film. If you guys like entertainment, even though you already know, like, obviously Michael Jordan signed with Nike, but just the whole thing behind the scenes. Good film. Recommend it. Let me see what you guys are saying. What's going on, Ron Slusher? What's going on, Travis? What's going on, Eclipse? Leo, Kylo. Good morning. Good morning. What's going on, Robert Jones? All right, so let's get to the first story. Let's get this out of the way here. I say out of the way, but it's like, it's a story, but it's not a story, but it is a story. What's going on, Super Dave? So, lots been going on with Kotaku, right? We take Kotaku stories, and we make fun of a lot of Kotaku stories, but we mostly take everyone's stories out there. If it's good, bad, I just take the topic, read the article, have conversations. But Kotaku in the last couple of weeks, because of the Sweet Baby Inc. stuff that happened, because of Kerbutis, where we're talking about the Steam, they basically wrote a story about a week ago, basically leaving out the big portion of what happened in the actual Sweet Baby Inc. story. So much so that the author or the writer got, a lot of trash towards her way, which deserved, because if you're a journalist, be a journal, right? Be a journalist. Like, tell both sides. Give us the news of what's happening, not your opinion piece on what it is, and then lie about it because of the clicks. So after that happened, Kotaku basically got a whole bunch of shit on them, which they get shit on all the time, which they deserve, okay? Because their editorial stuff is just garbage. So Kotaku ownership basically said, we're changing ways, right? We're not doing what we're doing. We're going to game guides. But since then, they've now come back and said, no, we're not doing that. So let's read this article here. This article, I believe, was on the 21st. So we're on the 25th. 4 days is like an eternity of news stories in the internet. So Kotaku editor-in-chief exits due to parent company's new guide directive. Now, Jen Glennon resigns after 5 months into her role while the publication deprioritizes news. Okay? So Kotaku editor Jen Glennon has exited her role reportedly due to the editorial direction from the GO media, according to Aftermath. Now, per Gallion, letter of resignation, the parent company, Geo Media, mandated that the game publication focuses on game guides and deprioritizes news. If you guys didn't see, there's a article, or not an article, there's a video out there by Upper Echelon who talks about how if they make this switch, it's 100% viable. He goes into, he was making content with just game guides, okay, and was very profitable for him, and he did it for like 4 years, and he's changed his channel from there, but he goes back every once in a while. This quote, I firmly believe, this is from Jen, I firmly believe that the decision to invert Kotaku's editorial strategy deprioritizes the news in favor of guides of fundamentally misguided, given the current misfractures of the site, Glennon said in a letter. This decision is directly contradicted by months of traffic data and shows an astonishing disregard to livelihoods of remaining writers and editors who work here. Now, here's the thing I look at. Kotaku, when they first started, was a gaming site, what it was. But the last, I don't want to say 5-6 years, maybe even longer, they've kind of shifted that to basically being the tabloids of the gaming industry, right? So much so that Kotaku hasn't learned their lesson at all, because now they're doing a hit piece on another YouTuber out there. If you guys don't know, you can go check that news out. But according to the source familiar with the matter, Kotaku staffers are expected to create 50 guides in a total week. Now, I don't know if that's feasible or not. Again, I don't know the amount of people that work there, the amount of work they actually do. There is parts that they said that they basically were just copy other people's guides just to put it out there, which is basically, you know, plagiarism and stuff like that if they do it the wrong way, which they've done in the past. So Aftermath notes that the site landing page area is a space typically home for major stories and breaking news and has been replaced by tips and guides. Okay, Glennon was hired back in October of 2023, and with her existence at Kotaku, or exit at Kotaku, lost another editor-in-chief is under a year. Back in August 2023, Patricia Hernandez also reportedly fired following a personal disagreement. So it looks like the upper management and the owners of the company don't agree on what's happening here. They keep bringing people in, which looks like they're leaning more towards non-gaming news using a gaming site. But, you know, so since then, they've now changed, like I said, and now they're going back to, it was less than a day, because it happened, I think, on Thursday or Friday. I went on vacation Friday, came back Saturday, and between Thursday and Saturday, they changed their mind from going all guides to not going guides and going back to now hit pieces and whatnot, which is pretty funny to me. Look, all we ask. Thanks for becoming a member. Travis, thank you very much for that. Appreciate that. Thank you very much for the 12 months. What the problem is here, okay, is that all we want as gamers, all we want as people of planet Earth, is if you're going to be a news site, give the news. Don't sway the news. Just give the news, right? A lot of people comment on my videos and stuff. Well, that's not what happened. Our context in this video that I'm doing right now is based off of this article. This article, I'm giving you my thoughts on this article, okay? If anything happens after this, after I make this video, that's a completely separate video. That's a completely separate facts. We're taking our conversation based on just this article, what's happened in this article, okay? Now, Kotaku just needs to tell the news. Not tell their news, tell the news. So Kotaku's been bad for many, many years. IGN is becoming bad, okay? Because they don't tell the news. They give their opinions. I give my opinion, but I'm not a journalist, okay? There's a difference between a journalist and a person giving their opinion. If you want to give your opinions, cool. Then make sure you clarify that on your site and make sure that people know that you're not a news site, you're not journalists, you're just a person giving opinions. And everyone has opinions, and you're allowed to give your opinions, which is fine. But when you're a actual entity, a media company, trying to give news, and then you sway that news so you get better clicks, you are no longer a news organization. You are a tabloid organization at that time. But these are just my thoughts. Let me know yours in the comments section down below. What do you think about Kotaku? I could care less if Kotaku goes away. That's just one less news place that I have to go through to scurry through what news is and less garbage. But these are just my thoughts. Let me know yours, like I said, in the comment section down below. Please make sure you share, like, subscribe. And if you like what we do here, please make sure you watch some other of our videos. Thanks for watching. Travis says, wow, 12 months, a full year. I've laughed, I've cried, I've learned. I've been a great ride. Can't wait for more. Also, I can't wait for Outlaws. Appreciate that, man. Thanks for the 12-month support. Travis, when you first came in here, right? And I'm glad you're still here, right? Because I don't like to boot anybody out, right? When certain people come in, they're very abrasive because they think I have a place, like I'm trying to groove into like being this side or that side. But the longer people stay here, they realize that I'm just enjoying playing video games and having conversations about video games. And Travis has been here 12 months, and I can't believe it's been 12 months already. So I appreciate the support. Thanks for the membership. We all grow. We've all grown and changed. Travis says, the problem is letting on non-gamers trying to act like gamers. Well, I don't know if it's acting like gamers or not gamers. You know what I mean? Kylo says TMZ of gaming. Yeah, that's exactly what they are. Exactly right. It's just like the regular news. And that's the problem, right? Here's the thing. We're going to talk about microtransactions in a little bit, right? We don't care that you have opinions about other things. But if I go to Nintendo Power, and Nintendo Power is starting to talk to me, right? Now, Nintendo Power is not even a thing anymore. But if I open up the magazine of Nintendo Power when I was a kid, and they're telling me about the President of the United States or what's going on in Ukraine, I'd be like, something's wrong here, right? I get Nintendo Power so I can talk and, like, see Nintendo Power news about Nintendo games, right? And that's the thing. We don't care, right? Like, there's this life, real life, and then there's our gaming life. And in our gaming life, we don't care about propaganda. We don't care about gaslighting. We don't care about the shit. We just want gaming news, right? But gaming news along the way has become a tabloid instead of just giving the news, okay? Same with our video games, right? We don't care that there's diversity in our video games. We care that you're pushing it down and gaslighting and propaganding us with this stuff. And if we don't like it, like if we didn't like a game in the past, we didn't buy the game, okay? But we weren't called racist, sexist, misogynistic people because we didn't like your game. We just didn't buy your game. But now because they put certain things in the game and it doesn't do well, now the people that didn't buy it, that's what we are, okay? And same with movies, right? We don't care that you put the stuff in. We care that you're taking IPs and changing it, okay, to give us propaganda and stuff. We just want to play games. We just want to watch movies. We just want to read books. We just want the news. We don't want to be skewed in a way that you're shoving it down our faces and it's all lies. Okay? It's all lies based on the 1% because everyone knows hate gathers more clicks than people liking something. These are facts, right? Financial facts. Okay? I don't make clickbait titles, right? I try to make my thumbnails as simple as possible. Hence why when I look at my, I'm not getting millions of views here, right? I stay true to who I am, right? I talk about what I want to talk about, and if people like it, they like it. If they don't like it, they don't like it, right? Imagine The Last of Us with Minecraft graphics. That would be interesting. Look, if the game is good, though, I don't think graphics matter. I don't think graphics matter as long as the gameplay is good. Travis says, also, I thought the first that you were being attacked, but after a month or two, I learned you weren't attacking. You were discussing. I love debate. I just like things to be civil. I'll smack Sarge. Yeah, we don't even debate, really. We just have conversation. Right? I'm okay if someone can teach me something, cool, right? But a lot of people like to throw in stuff, and we're just reading the news, right? We're just reading articles, and I'm giving you my opinions off of those articles. Water. I normally take what game news outlets say with a grain of salt anyways. Unless it's official news from the devs themselves, they're relying or relaying. Well, even then, some of the devs that come out are full of shit because they don't want the backlash, though. Let's be honest, Water. For example, rumors of the Star Wars Outlaws could be dropping the next 60 days, but we haven't gotten a release date just yet. Right. And that's just the rumors and stuff that are coming around. Graphics less than everything else. Yeah, I think graphics, again, One of my favorite games of all time, I think, is a fantastic game, is Minecraft. Minecraft has nothing to do with the graphics. The graphics kind of give it its charm. But the game of what you can do in the game itself. Now, is it the most hardcore game ever? No, but I think what a game is supposed to do is supposed to entertain, supposed to be fun, it's supposed to learn and teach you stuff. And I think for what demographic that's in, I think Minecraft is a fantastic game. I don't think it has kid graphics because it's for kids. I think it's simplistic because of when he was making the game, it was just, that's what he could do, Notch could do by himself. So it completely changed, right? Don't get me wrong. I think graphics are important for certain things. Like, if we just watched the trailer for Marvel 1943 Rise of Hydra and it had the Minecraft graphics, we'd be like, we'll have to see how that works out. But because you see the graphics with the Unreal Engine 5, you're like, holy Christ, that looks good, right? But the graphics might be fantastic, but the gameplay might be mediocre as far as games go, okay? Hopefully the gameplay is fantastic and the graphics are fantastic. I think graphics can make or break an immersion, but also are they the most important thing via gameplay? It all depends what that immersion is, right? It all depends on what type of thing it is. As they're saying, as Travis saying, BattleBit graphics are terrible, but it sold well. Yeah, because the game is super fun. Because it goes back to the core. Come on, I think. Fighting Cowboy hashed it out. The world can rest easy now. Crowded house. I don't even know who Fighting Cowboy was until someone came in and told me who it was. I have no idea who that is. And this is what blows my mind, right? I don't have no idea how many followers he has or subscribers. He probably has like 1 million or whatever, right? I have no idea. And to know that someone has that many followers and I've never even heard of him before, I'm like, how do people find me? Right? How do people find me? DMXZ, what's going on? Says, I feel like Minecraft wouldn't be as good if the graphics were better. The style fits it too well. Well, there are people that do the mods and stuff, DMX, where it makes it, you know, the shaders and stuff look awesome, and people do a lot of mods with it. But that's not what Minecraft is about, right? I think if Minecraft was Fortnite graphics, or I think it was like Unreal Engine graphics, the gameplay is so good, I think it would be just as fun, just as popular. But it does work with the graphics that it has. Travis says, the Rise of Hydra and Captain America and Black Panther game, missed the trailer. I was sick. Go check out the past. We react to it. Or you can go watch just the trailer itself. If you just want to be entertained, the trailer is amazing. You're like, oh my God, this looks unbelievable. But I'm a little worried about what the gameplay is going to be, as far as, is it going to be like movie, press X, movie, press Y, you know, type of thing. What's going on, Roadkill? Come on, Dave Rose. Graphics are absolutely important. Games like BattleBit would have had more players if it wasn't for the visuals. Some people saw that and were like, nope, there's the most important thing. No, I disagree. Well, first of all, I think the people that are making the game couldn't make the graphics super intense, right? Because of budgeting and whatnot. Okay. And then the graphics of BattleBit, they made the game work because of the gameplay, and the gameplay is super fun. Okay. Now, sure, you could say, and again, I'm not saying I'm right or you're right, Rose, but the gameplay is super fun, and that's what made it, like, popular, not because of the graphics. The graphics were just a thing. I mean, I'm okay with the play. I play games for story, and I love Telltale. Right, but all I'm saying is, a lot of people. Look. I think the Marvel game of Captain America and Black Panther is going to be a good game. I just think that they're putting more into, because Amy Hennig came out and said that they want to get more people, right? When the budgets are super high, they have to get it out to more people, more engagement with more people, right? And if they make it like a Dark Souls game, that's not going to happen. But if they make it visually popping, and they're like, oh my God, this looks like a movie, people will be like, well, I'll pick it up. And out of her own mouth a couple of years ago, she said that 50% of people or below don't even finish the game, right? She goes, it goes as low as 10% of people, okay? where only 10% of the people finish a game. And we've talked about this in the past. We looked at other games and go, 30% of people only got to the end of the game, right? 70% of the people didn't finish the game. So between 10% to 50% of the people finish games. That's insane. Okay? So how do you get it out to the bigger population and then also, right, make that money? Well, you have to get it out to the bigger population, so it has to look visually well. And then it can't be too hard because there's that wall. If it's too hard, then people won't play it, right? So they got to make it visually pleasing, and they got to make it easy, right? So people engage with the content. I played Order 1886 to get an idea. The game was underrated. Graphics sell. I think gameplay sells. I think graphics sells for pre-orders, but then I also think a lot of people don't play the game. You know what I'm saying? Sure, you make the money because you're just selling it, but a lot of people have backlogs and stuff like that. And you're not wrong. Graphics do sell. Hence why they make trailers and stuff like that. If graphics sold so well, then why do most of the bigger corporations don't do in-game videos? They do live action videos for their video games. Right? Sometimes graphics don't matter. It's about the IP and the brand. Most Sony games have too many cutscenes for me. I don't expect this game to be any different. Yeah, I think it's going to be a movie game. Which is nothing wrong with a movie game. I just think that's what it's going to be. I don't think it's going to be very difficult to play the game. What's going on, Chris? Graphics and aesthetics, sure. But if the gameplay is bad, then it's not exactly a good game. Just by graphics alone. Look at Call of Duty right now. Right. And look, don't get me wrong. If you look at a regular film, you're not looking for graphics, right? You're looking for action. What's the action? Does it have enough action? Right? Because people are bored. They need to keep it going. Okay? Which kind of ruins what movies are, because some movies don't need action at all. It's just about the dialogue. I just watched the movie Air. There's no action in that movie. It's a dialogue movie. Okay? It's a movie. Lots of dialogue, lots of things to pay attention to. Okay? Good movie. Right? Fast and Furious. Okay? Got a lot of action. Blowing up things, tanks, falling off bridges, doing all this stuff. Right? And it's a popular movie, but it's an okay film. Right? A lot of people don't watch it because they're like, I don't want things to blow up. I want a movie. Devs constantly try to pump out the best graphics at cost of everything else. They wish they could focus less on the graphics. Right. Hence why all these companies push 4K. 4K at 30 frames. 2K at 30 frames. 1080p at 60 frames. We want games to run smooth. They want visuals. Right? And then we're thinking, because of the visuals, we're like, oh man, that looks great. There's no way it's going to run smooth. No way it's going to run smooth, because the visuals have to, they hurt the actual quality of the game because they're not running at 60 frames per second. If GTA 6 Game Boy Advance game, would people complain about the graphics? If GTA 6 had a Game Boy Advance game, people would complain about the graphics. I mean, they did complain about the graphics when the Definitive Edition came out, didn't they? Where they did the port. Water says 8K 5060 at 500 frames. Let's go! All right, let's go to the next story, right? The next story, and this could be a big conversation, right? Because this is about Dragon Dogma, microtransactions, and whatnot. If you guys are liking what we do here, make sure you hit that like button. Make sure you hit the subscribe button if you'd like to go above and beyond that. Become a member as little as $5. We have live shows Monday through Thursday from 10 o'clock in the morning. We also have uploads that happen. We also have gameplay that happens here. We also have another channel called 30 and Still Gaming, where most of my gameplay is going. Gameplay that I don't do on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday evenings. Even games I'm not even playing on live on stream are going to go up there. So make sure you're over there if you want to watch gameplay. Those are like Let's Play type of stuff. We also have Nerding with 30. Nerding with 30 is our entertainment section where we go about movies and whatnot. So lots of content over here. So if you like what we do, make sure you hit that like button. This is our main channel where we do the live content. We do podcasts as well. All right, so Dragon Dogma 2. Dragon Dogma 2 launches the most negative review bombing after microtransaction reveal, and man, what a bummer. This is updated, right? So this was written 3 days ago, but I believe they updated it. It says updated, so we're going to assume that they have the updates. Okay, so update, March 22nd, right? So that's 3 days ago. It says Capcom has reported or responded to the ongoing controversy surrounding the microtransactions in the new blog post, reiterating to the players that most of the items available to purchase can be acquired through gameplay, as I wrote in the post originally. Now, we can confirm that this is now several of the other writers, myself included, have either completed or gotten very far through the playthrough. However, I think it's important to emphasize that not all these items are common finds, and some of are only available in limited quantities. Now, just based off that alone, here's the problem people have with Dragon's Dogma, right? Now, a lot of people didn't even buy the game. Upset because they heard someone that there was they had no interest. They had no interest in this game whatsoever, and they're jumping on board because single player. This is no different than someone protesting something they don't actually believe in, right? They see a crowd and they're like, "What's like?" If you go outside your house and start going like this to the sky, someone will stop or slow down and get out and kind of look at the sky with you because they don't know what's going on. They just want to be a part of the group. Okay. Now, do I think single player games should have microtransactions? Hell no. No, I don't. Okay. But they do. Now, you guys know me. I don't partake in microtransactions. The only partaking I do with microtransactions is if I'm interested in the game, I bought the game, which then sends a signal to home base, which is the corporation, and says, hey, they bought the game, and it has microtransactions. They like microtransactions, and that's the way corporate office works, okay? It says, notably, the article also confirmed that Capcom is looking into adding its easy way to start a new game in Dragon Dogma 2 soon, though you can also delete your save file to also do that at launch. I wrote about a short guide on the process. You can also, so this is stupid as well, right? Single player game, one game file, right? Why is that? Because they want to sell you a microtransaction in the game to do stuff. And if you don't want to do that, you can get it in-game as well. But the fact that they have it there to change your character is kind of scummy. Now, following its launch, Dragon Dogma 2's rating on Steam was slowly but steadily improved. At the time of writing this, the update, it has risen to mixed, with 42% of all reviews giving a positive score. Now, the original article, as I write this, Capcom's new ARPG, Dragon's Dogma 2, is now officially playable on PC through Steam, with the game slated to go live on Xbox and PlayStation console in just a few hours. Okay, this was a couple days ago before it launched. Now, what was supposed to be an exciting celebratory launch of the sequel, fans have also been waiting over a decade, though it's been marred by controversy. Now, when the game became available, a previously hidden suite of microtransactions purchases did as well. These include everything from roof crystals used in the hire other players, pawns of art of metamorphosis require to change the character's appearance, along with the Wakestone reveal items. Now, the port crystals, fast travel points, use key to escape the prison cells, insists of editing the pawn's indication of the pawns getting randomized by the way. Now, monsters' lures, and even special camping equipment has weighs less than normal gear, and they're visible on Dragon Dogma's 2 DLC page. Now, the price of these microtransactions range from $1 to $5. So you know what? I'm going to give them a round of applause because they actually made a microtransaction. It's not a lie. They do have microtransactions. While some other appear to only be purchased in a limited quantities, it looks like others can be brought in infinitely. And when they consider Dragon Dogma 2 is a $70 single-player RPG, it's not surprising that the players are not happy. Now, to put this lightly, on Steam, it's already plummeted down to mostly negative rating with only 34% of review positive. Okay? Now, obviously, you as a customer don't have to buy the game right now. Nothing happens if you don't buy the game right now, especially since it's a single player. Now, obviously, because people are playing the the game, they could ruin your experience because it could leak online what's happening in the game. But if you're online playing the game while, like, if I bought the game, that's still going to happen. So do I have to speed through the game so I don't get ruined? Do I have to stay ahead of the train so I don't get hit, right? Or don't worry about it and buy it later. Now, if you don't like the microtransactions because it's a full price $70 game, then wait for it to go on sale. Wait till it's $60. Wait till it's $50. Wait till it's $40. Wait till it's a pre-order. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like a used copy. You don't have to buy the game right now full price with the microtransactions in the game. Now, obviously, it's not good that there's microtransactions in any game. You know, if it's free to play, cool. If it's a lower price game, sure. Okay, but a full price $70 game, that's where people have a problem. Okay, but again, you don't have to partake in this, right? If you have time to play the game, then play the game. If you don't have time to play the game, maybe you should reevaluate what you're doing and going, you know what? I don't have time to play this game right now. I'll pick it up down the road when I do have time. Okay. So then after pre-purchasing the deluxe edition, I went in to install it today. I saw a whole page dedicated to its microtransactions in the store. Okay. He says, how did it even have a nerve to put any kind of microtransactions in any already full-price single-player game? It's so wild to me. Makes the same point, rather, that great games held down by scummy microtransactions. Now, here's the thing. This is a $70 game, full price, and they're charging you, people say it's like pay to win, pay to progress, whatever you want to say it. It's just a microtransaction. Then there's games that, Suicide Squad, full price game, but they have microtransactions on top of that, much more than just $1 to $5, okay? And they're also giving you all the content for free, right? Like, they're not charging you to get Joker. They're not charging you for the other stuff. They're not charging you to fast travel or anything like that. They're just charging you for cosmetic skins. So now we have cosmetic skins and actual gameplay mechanics that are happening here, where if you want to fast travel, put something down, you have to purchase one of these. You don't have to. You can earn it through the game, but it means you have to put time in, and people don't want to put time in, right? They want to get it now. So do you blame the company? I mean, this is not the first game that Capcom has put it in. They've put these in the game for the last, like, correct me if I'm wrong, at least 6 years, if not more. I think it's almost closer to 10, right, with all the games that they have. Okay? So, indeed, much of Windows Central's team, yours truly included, has already accessed the Dragon Dogma 2 for quite some time now, and we're also in love with the incredible combat system and rich fantasy world. Now, I think that's what it comes down to, right? Are you having fun with the game? Is the game a game? Did you feel, before you knew there was microtransactions, right? You had no problem playing the game. If they didn't have microtransactions, you would have been like, oh, this is fantastic. I'm having a blast. I'm doing all this stuff. And then all of a sudden they're like, oh, they put microtransactions. You're like, this is it. Game's crap. Is it? You're 60 hours in and you had a blast, right? So for more on that, the team wasn't made aware of the microtransactions beforehand, but we've been lying if we said those microtransactions haven't dampened some of the writers' enthusiasm of the game, especially since the handful of them are practically egregious, okay? Of the lot of them, two of the frustrations to me are most personally are the $2.99 port crystals and the $1.99 Rift, okay? The former monetization ability to fast travel wherever you want in the game world, and the port crystals are extremely rare to find in gameplay. Now, while the latter's remained, nature essentially turns changing your pawns into a slot machine, you can spend $2 to re-roll, or am I pretty miffed about the $2.99 Explorer's Camping Kit, too? As it weighs less than the kits you'll find in-game, and you can be purchased infinitely from in-game vendors once unlocked. I think that's the biggest one that I don't like from hearing all of this, is the $3 extra camping kit that weighs less, so you can do, right? There's like a little advantage. Like, why don't you just add that to the pre-order bonus, right? Why didn't you put the $2.99 Explorer's Camping Kit? Maybe it is. Chat, let me know. Is the $2.99 Explorer's Camping Kit in the $80 version of the game, or is it just in the $70 version? I mean, obviously, if it's in the 80 and then you have to pay $2.99 on top of that, let me know. Let me know if it's in, right? I don't know. Okay. While the vast majority of what you can buy can be found in the game, there are items that are extremely difficult to find. Cost a ton of Rift crystals to buy, and they can also, there are microtransactions for that too. Or are they only available for a limited quantity? I've only been able to find 2 of the art Metamorphosis tomes that also sell in a single-player NPC shop despite finishing the game. Now, for example, which suggests that there may and be limited to a number of times you can change your appearance unless you're prepared to fork over some cheddar. Okay? And again, this isn't a free-to-play live service experience or anything like that. It's a $70 full-price single-player game, and it's an incredibly one. Okay? which is why the shocking reveal of all these microtransactions is such a colossal bummer. Genuinely, this is one of the best open world RPGs I've ever experienced, but now it's been overshadowed by greedy nickel and diming, and goddamn, that sucks. Okay. So Jez Gordon also says, I wanted to add here that the Capcom didn't hide these microtransactions from us. Before I published my review, there was a detailed in the review guide via link detailing DLC, which I had assumed referred to pre-ordered bonuses. Either way, when typically the review games, I avoid reading the review guide because I want to go in with a blank slate, as it's also playing purely as would be all yesteryear as someone who had just purchased the game for the first time. In the past, I received review guides that include developer explanations of PR languages that also felt might be designed to try to influence my opinion on the game. I feel like discovery as part of the gaming experience, and typically avoid review guides, and I hadn't shared the guide with my team either. Now, either way, my take is that when you conduct interviews saying that the fast travel is intentionally restricted, this is another thing that happened, right? Just back in January, he said fast travel, if you have fast travel in your game, it's because your game is boring. And then they sold you fast travel. So take the context, whatever you want. That's what he said. Okay, because traveling on foot was designed to be fun, sort of undermines your position when you start selling port crystals fast travel points as microtransactions. These port crystals in particular are incredibly rare in the game, and only found a couple in my initial playthrough and a third on my second. The game is ironically the best enjoyed without paying for microtransactions in my view, but it still leaves a sour taste of particular things like fast travel, character recustomization, could also very easily be free inclusion per other games. It's a slippery slope. And ex-EA John Riccitello and Infamous, I want to sell bullets in Battlefield microtransaction quirp yesteryear. So look, if it's not a big deal, and here's my stance. If they're not big deals, then why put them in the game in the first place? You see what I'm saying? Like, why couldn't they put this additional $2.99, $1 this, $1 that, okay, inside the game? It's part of the game. Right? If I get 7 fast travel points in the game, why can't we have 10? Because they're like, well, the game costs us this much, and if we get this many people to buy it, and 10% of those people buy it because they don't want to wait to get this game or wait to get the fast travel, then we'll make an additional $3 off each like, just put it in the fucking game. Just put it in the game. Like, Capcom doing this seems a little strange, right? But they've done this before, but that doesn't make it right. In a single-player game, in my opinion, right? You have your opinion, I have my opinion. In a single-player game, I don't think there should be extra microtransactions to help you fast travel through the world, okay? That's like buying a pair of boots that makes you move 50% faster in the game because you don't have time to walk between places, right? Each their own, right? We all have our lives. We all have, some people work 60-hour weeks. They come home, they got to do a whole bunch of stuff. They just want to sit down and play the game. And then they pay the $70 and they sit down and they go, oh, you know what? It's $2, $3. I can fast travel to this point, or I can play 10 hours to get another one. Each their own. It does look scummy, okay? It does look scummy. And to say that, well, if you don't like it, don't buy it. If people didn't buy games because of microtransactions, there would be no games left to buy. There'd be very few games for people to buy. And at the end of the day, people just want to play the game. Now, obviously, I say this all the time. We're in the 1 percentile. People that watch videos, watch YouTube, do all this stuff. Yes, there's millions and millions of people, okay? But a lot of people don't even know about this. A lot of people won't even notice that there's microtransactions in the game. They'll just kind of play the game and do their thing. And then if it's down the road, they might pick it up for $3. Yes, it's scummy. I don't care who does it. I think anything besides cosmetics is a scum factor inside a game, especially a single-player game. Now, if you came in and you want to give me better armor, better suit of armor that has nothing to do with stat-wise, it just looks cool, and you want to sell that, I have a problem with it, but that's much better than selling you something that gets you through the game faster, okay? But these are just my thoughts. Let me know yours in the comments section down below. What do you guys think? Is Dragon Dogma 2 and what Capcom's doing, is this an industry standard going forward? I mean, this is where it's been. It's been like this for years. This is not new, okay? Do you think this is scummy? Let me know in the comment section down below. Do you think this is fair? Let me know in the comment section down below. Please make sure you share, like, subscribe. And if you like what we do here, check out some of our other videos. Thanks for watching. All right, let's see what you guys are saying here. I haven't purchased, and I don't plan on purchasing any microtransactions unless it's some cool-ass armor. But hey, I love it, man. It's dope. I mean, multiple characters like Baldur's Gate 3 and have 5 characters, so now I can do that on Dragon's Dogma 2. It's like weights like 1 kilogram less. It's almost nothing. But Roic, why put that in the game, though? You know what I'm saying? If it's not a big deal, then why put it in the game? Why don't you just give it? Why don't they just put it in the game? It's scummy because they know that it, even if one person bought it, it's still scummy because they could have just put it in the game. You could just earn it in the game, right? Maybe it was a secret vendor off to the side that you can buy it from. Why not put it in the game? I'm sure the people complaining about this microtransaction consistently doing it. It just doesn't hit little Dragon Dogma 2 every time. Roic says, on port crystals, you can only put down a max of 10, and you can also get 5 to 6 on a single playthrough. I know. I said it in my little talk that I just did. I said 7 points, and then you can buy like 3 or whatever. Yep. Capcom is about past, usually their microtransactions, mostly cosmetic. Again, cosmetic and fast travel. Fast travel helps you get through the game faster. It does. It does. Right? If I have to go from here to here, and it takes me 15 minutes to walk here, and then 15 minutes to walk back, but I can just fast travel here and here, that helps your game go through quicker. Now, you know me, I don't care about finishing games quicker. I buy the game and take my sweet-ass time playing that game. I mean, I was under the impression that there was no fast travel at all when you guys were talking about it earlier, right? In January, when they said, oh, fast travel's not in the game, and it was really boring. Some of you even said that the first Dogma really slogged because there is no fast travel. Right? I was like, all right, cool. I've even talked in the past about Skyrim. Right? I've turned off my little dot in Skyrim when I played it because I hated just following the breadcrumbs. Right? I hated following the breadcrumbs. Where you're like, oh, you pick up a mission and it tells you to go over here. You're like, okay, I'm going over there. I would pick up a mission with no dot. Okay, and just wander around. And when I got to the city, all of a sudden, they're like, hey, you have a quest. I was like, I have a quest? Oh, this is... Right? That's the way I like playing the game. Now you have no choice. It's like dot, 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 dot. Smash button, smash button, smash button. Let me get done with it as fast as possible. Isn't DLC a technical microtransaction? Sure. Downloadable content. You're taking the term DLC, though, as like a Borderlands DLC, Travis. DLC is just downloadable content. Anything that you can purchase is a downloadable content, right? Downloadable content could also be free, okay? DLC, yes, it is a microtransaction, right? I think patch 1, they're changing a few things. Yeah, they are, Paul. It's stupid. Not disagreeing with you there. I think someone with the suit said we have to have some in there though, and I think that's the problem, Roic. I don't think it brings anything else to the table except for we'll make an additional $3 off 10%, 15% of the people that buy the game. Think about this. Did this hurt them or help them? Are more people going to buy this game at full price now because they have microtransactions? And if they don't, are the people that bought the game, is that percentage going to pay the $3 to surplus the ones that don't buy the game now because it has microtransactions? I don't know. Ron Slusher says, my wife charges me microtransactions. $1.99 for breakfast, $2.99 for lunch, $4.99 for dinner, $1 laundry, $6 for... Are you sure that's your wife? Are you staying in a hotel, Ron? Are you staying in a hotel? I think microtransactions are net positive for the game. I'm sure. It's free money. I mean... I know it's not here, but Do you think if Hogwarts Legacy had microtransactions in it, do you think it would have sold 23 million copies? I know it's not. There's no right answer. Just an assumption, right? Right? Do we think that Hogwarts Legacy would have sold 23 million copies if it had microtransactions in it? You think it would have sold 23 million copies? Something close to it? You think so? Now, I'm okay because we had a conversation last week about Hogwarts Legacy. If they added a live service aspect to the Hogwarts Legacy game and they put in microtransactions and cosmetics and all that stuff in there, I'm fine with that because you bought the single player game and the single player game is there like a Grand Theft Auto, right? And then there's an online. Right? I don't partake in microtransactions. I don't. Ink says, microtransactions like this full price game I do not like. Don't mind them. In Warframe, it's free, but nowadays I can't play action games under 60 frames per second and my eyes hurt so bad. Paul says, I think Hogwarts would have, as the player base is made up of 95% casual players who don't care. I don't know. I think if they paid to get the broom to go fast travel or stuff like that, I think it would be a sour note. I don't think they would have made... It's because it's a single-player game. Like, games like Genshin Impact, Fortnite, Call of Duty... Call of Duty is weird because they have the single-player campaign and then they have the microtransaction, which is more like a multiplayer stuff, right? That's multiplayer cosmetics, right? The single-player is the problem, I think, right? Because if... Do you think Spider-Man... Do you think Spider-Man would have sold as well if they charged for all those cosmetics inside there and they also charged you for, I don't know, I guess fast travel, right? I guess same. Let's just put the same parameters on Dragon's Dogma 2, right? If you could fast travel around. I mean, obviously people want to get around the board faster, hence why they put the swingsuit in the second game. I'm not sure why they added microtransactions to single player game, but hey, I'm enjoying every minute. Yeah, I mean. Water, for me and for you, there's no difference because, like, Suicide Squad has microtransactions. It's a single-player game and also a multiplayer game. But you can play it all single-player. I don't partake in the microtransactions, right? It has no bearing on me. But at the same time, like I said in the very beginning, just us buying the game with microtransactions included in it is telling the leaders of the company that we don't care about the microtransactions being in the game, even though we're not buying the game. Right? We're not buying the game for microtransactions. We're not buying the microtransactions in the game. We're just buying the game. All corporate office cares about is, hey, they bought the game, and we have microtransactions in it. Let's see how much we can push the envelope, right? Capcom is literally, and again, you guys would have to tell me, in other Capcom games, because I don't play all Capcom games that are single-player games, I know they've done this before. Did they raise the price? Was it $1, $2, and now it's $1, $3, $4, $5 now, right? And they turned the dial up from the last single-player game they put microtransactions into to this single-player game with microtransactions in it. Robert Jones says, time savers in single-player games is scummy industry standard. Yeah, and I agree there. And that's why I say it's scummy. Okay? If you want to put cosmetics in Dragon's Dogma 2, I don't think anyone would have a problem. I mean, let me rephrase that. People would have a problem, but there wouldn't be a massive issue because it's just cosmetic, right? Because we're all kind of used to cosmetic stuff. But when there's fundamental stuff in the game that makes you move across the board faster, and they're like, well, you can still earn it in game. You can only earn up to a certain point in the game, and then there's extra ones, okay? I personally think if the microtransactions were in the game, if the people bought the game pre-ordered wise and they bought the deluxe edition, then those people could have got the extra things, right? Maybe that could force people to buy it okay, or to pre-order it. I don't know. You know what I mean? Like, if you pre-ordered the game for the $70, they knew ahead of time. You're like, hey, these people are buying the game. They're pre-ordering it. Thank you. Hey, thanks for pre-ordering it. Because you pre-ordered, we're going to give you 3 extra fast travels. Then people have been like, what the fuck? Right? It's just a bonus. Just a bonus. Hey, thanks for pre-ordering it. Or maybe they don't do it for the $70 version, but the $80 version, all of that was included. Then get that money up front instead of trying to nickel and dime them after the fact. All right. Well, going from those microtransactions. Eclipse says, snow day tomorrow. Can't wait. Actually bought the $50 edition. El bought it. El Nini bought me Snow Day. So we're going to be playing that tomorrow evening when it comes out. So tomorrow night, Tuesday night, we're going to be playing Snow Day on PC. He bought it on me. Bought it for me on Steam. So we're going to play it on Steam tomorrow night. Titan says, remind me of Borderlands 2 Deluxe Edition. Had a relic that boosted your rate drop rate. It was in 2012. Right. But that was that. You were known ahead of that, right? And it was included into that price. Cosmetics, microtransactions, single player, also scummy. Yeah, look, I think if you charge full price. Here's the thing. They could have taken this game and said $50 with microtransactions. Everyone would have been fine. But because they charged $70 with microtransactions, and how much, actually, before we even go on to the next story, what's the price? They do a total here. Is there something that tells you? Oh, I gotta put Dragon Dogma as 2. All right, it says here that there's a $15 bundle on sale that includes 1,500 Rift crystals and one each of the DLC items, notable excluded the Pork Crystal. This bundle also includes in-game's $80 Deluxe Edition. So there's an option for people willing to part with a bit more money. So even when you buy the $80 version, you're not getting all of the DLC that they put in. All right, so you got $5, 2,500 Rift crystals, $1,500 Rift crystals. Jesus. Okay. Another $2.99. So you got 1, 2, 3. You got D, C, B. What does that mean? Beyond the Rift A, beyond the Rift D, beyond the Rift C, beyond the Rift B. 500 Rift Crystal points to spend beyond the Rift C. All right, so what do we got here? We got 5, 8, 11, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 24, 25, 28, 28, 30, 32, 33, 34, 35, 38, 41, 41, $41. Now, can you buy those multiple times, or is there a limit? Just scroll down to the total. Is there a total down here? Where's the total? On the game store page. Journey pack. There we go. 41.79. Oh, at least my math worked out. Now, can you buy these multiple times? Or is this a one-time purchase? Right? So we're talking a $110 game now. Right? Well, I think every time you do the creator editor, it's $2, right? Every time. Some of them are on one time only. I love this. Okay, this is a prison key. Escape from jail. Okay, escape from jail is $1. So now let's have a conversation a little bit. Again, I don't know about the game itself. I'm just having a conversation. If a company comes out and makes you go to jail, and then you can't get out, right? You got to pay $1 to get out of jail, or you had a key. Do they give the first one free? They're like, well, don't get caught again, because if you get caught again, it's going to cost you $1. Like, how the fuck does that work? Do you know what I mean? Like, are we playing Monopoly now? How many times do I go to jail? And how many times can I get out? What happens if early in the game I do something and I get thrown into the prison and I don't have a key? Do I have to pay $1? Or is the first one free? Or can I sneak out a different way? I'm asking. I'm truly, truly asking anybody that's played the game. What happens if I'm in jail and I don't have a key? That's stupid. You get a permanent one through the story. A permanent one. Okay. So what about if I don't get to that point yet? And I get thrown into jail? If they see any of this DLC is selling, you can get that point for sure. Game over, start over, your one save. Yeah, but the problem is, yeah, the one save, right? Which they're fixing. I know they're fixing. It's at the very beginning of the story. It's at the very beginning of the story. Then why have the 99-cent escape key? I'm confused here. I'm confused. It's at the very beginning of the story. They're charging $1 to get out of jail, even though you're going to get out of jail anyway. Is that what you're saying, Rowick? You can break out. You can break out, and there's also keys you can get that break after one use. Okay, so now let's have a conversation. because the game starts you off in prison, okay, and you break out of prison, it's setting that precedence now that, hey, you broke out using a key that they gave you the first one for free. Is there any other point that you can get thrown into prison in the rest of the game? Because if there isn't, and the only key to get out of the jail is the 99-cent one for the very beginning of the game, then that's even more scummy. Glad I don't give two shits about this game, and this is the stuff people defend. This is why devs keep throwing this stuff in. You know what I mean? Like, I'm just trying to figure this out. If the only key that you need is the very beginning of the game, then why are you selling a 99-cent key? It was on Prime Video, Dolphin. Bottom line is these microtransactions undermines the integrity of the game. It's unhealthy game design, low effort. I agree, Paul. Agreed. People that buy stuff as this being conned twice, paying for progress, and then buying stuff that the inferior to what's earnable. What's going on, Argus? Do you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I just find it. And I think Carnage. You know what? Let me bring up Carnage's, because he did a tweet this week, and I think he kind of nailed it on the head. Right? Let me look it up real fast. Not to say like he's the one all be all of all things, but he said something. Let me see if I could find it. It was on the 22nd. Okay. He actually says this. Okay. He says this is to answer like people's stuff that's out there. Okay. Let me put the music on. Hold on. Okay. Quote, just don't buy the microtransaction. Easy, right? He says, no. For many, that's not how this works. The problem is simple. When you want to sell something, okay, there has to be a need for it. It's easy for us to summarize everything in microtransactions list. Take Dragon Dogma 2, for instance, an extra or unneeded since you get it all in the game. No harm, no foul, right? Wrong. When you try to sell items, you try to make a need. Your need is impetus to the purchase. When you start attaching money into items you earn in the game, who is to say the game developers were told to make sure that you want a limited X item because they're selling it as DLC, right? You see what I'm saying? Okay, so maybe that game designer was going to put a super rare item drop on the hard boss, or maybe at the end of the hard dungeon. But nope, they ended up putting a lesser item that they're to influence folks to want to buy a particular rare item as DLC. Okay, now this is actually happening. Who knows? Or he says, now is this actually happening? Who knows? But it actually happened. Think about it. Absolutely. Think that the companies were talking about here. You honestly think they wouldn't change the mechanics / gameplay, drop rate, items to encourage players to buy them as DLC? We already know this is happening. We know that NetEase did this, or Nexon, not NetEase. Nexon was fucking with the drop rates of things in their games. Okay, so 100%, this is already happening. Okay, now in these companies, they thought they could do that and get away with it. Would they? Better damn right they would. Okay, at what direction are we going right now? I want to end this ridiculous long post with this. This is all a thought experiment on why people get so angry at single-player DLC. There's thousands of reasons people hate it, but this is mine. If you're one of the ones that doesn't like single-player DLC, why? If you don't mind it at all after reading all of this, why? And finally, if you're one of the people who says, it's cool, they can do whatever they want, I just won't buy it, are you fully confident that the stuff like this isn't going to get much worse over time? And if so, why? Okay, good talk. Okay? He says, to add to it, he says, a couple quick notes to add. Okay? He says, Dragon Dogma 2 is an incredible game. At this post, wasn't bashing the monetization itself. It's really not that bad at all, and nothing leads me to think that it would influence the gameplay thus far. I played the first one, and the experience is similar without the DLC items. Just wanted to clear that up. He says, the main trigger for this was the fact that the game is mostly negative on Steam, and most of the reviews are pinging the microtransactions, and notably performance. Again, the OP isn't about the DD2, specifically about the discussion and what led them to be massive reasons of poor reception. Okay? But what he's saying there, okay, what he's saying there is this sets a precedence. This sets a standard. This sets a thing where if a game, okay, can they change the stuff, right? If it's cosmetic, cool. But if it's just the fast travel that you can earn, but you can earn it 15 hours in, okay? For the average person, you get that one every 15 hours. Can they make the drop rate even less to make you go to the store to buy it? Well, you know, it takes you a little longer to get this. You can get it for 99 cents. 99 cents, right? Not saying that Dragon Dogma is doing that, okay? But where do they draw the line? Where do they push? Where do they keep pushing that line to see who's going to purchase? What do they kick out? You know they're going to do this, okay? They did it with the microtransactions with loot boxes, right? The loot boxes were the worst. Loot boxes were the worst because you didn't know the actual percentage until they fought for it. Then they put the percentages there, but then they lied about the percentages as well, okay? That's scummy. This is scummy, but on a lesser scale of scummy, but still scummy, okay? Now, you could be like Sarge. Sarge doesn't buy any of this stuff, right? He won't buy the game. He won't support the game. He won't do anything with the game because of what it is, okay? But anybody that's like, I don't want to, right? I think Asmongold said it in a video. He said, if you don't want to support it, then you shouldn't buy the game at all, because buying the game is still showing the devs support that you're okay with the microtransactions in game. That's what it is, okay? All right, so now we go to the third story, okay? We go to the third story. If you guys like what we do here, we do this Monday through Thursday from 10 o'clock in the morning till noon Eastern. We go over news stories, have conversations. If you like it, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. If you'd like to go above and beyond it, become a member as little as $5. Okay. So why the $183 billion video game industry can't quit microtransactions? Well, because it's $183 billion. Thanks for coming to my TED Talk. Okay. So the video game industry... Okay, the video game industry cannot quit microtransactions. The fact that two of the largest video game companies in the United States, Electronic Arts and Take-Two Interactive, now make the overwhelming majority of the money from live service games, subscriptions, and in-game purchases, according to the recent earnings reports. Microtransactions are purchases that make inside a game using real money, and they show up as subscriptions, virtual currency, and character customization options, amongst other examples. Fast travel. Okay. Popular live service titles such as Fortnite, Call of Duty, Warzone, and Clash Royale were built around the revenue model. Game publishers must provide updates throughout the certain game life cycles to retain the player's attention, which is where the term live service comes from. Gamers pay for these updates through season passes or subscriptions. Now, gamer backlash from the early attempts and in-game purchases caused the video game industry to shift its approach to these subscriptions and building purchasable content. Now, you got to remember, 2017 was like the boiling point when Battlefront 2 came out, and people were like, get those microtransactions out of our game. We don't want the loot boxes. We don't want all this stuff. Boiling point. People went to court. People went to try to change rules. Then they had to show that the loot boxes were left. Well, the company had to look and go, well, they don't like the microtransactions for loot boxes. You like microtransactions, so let's give them something else. Well, what can we do? Well, instead of making these 10 items that we were going to put in the game, like Spider-Man does, right? They put all the cosmetics inside the game. They're like, what about if we, out of the 30 cosmetics that we have, why don't we put the shitty ones inside the game, and then we'll put the other 20 that are really badass, and we'll slow drip them over the next year and a half so people come back and buy the cool cosmetics. But goddamn right, that's what they're doing, okay? It says, quote, the industry has really moved more of what they call Battle Pass system to some kind of packaging of seasonal content, said Matt Piscatella, executive director of video game, how do you say that, Sorcana? Those systems have found much warmer response because I think people are finding that they are getting more value and more reliable value for their money. Let me read that again. So those systems have found much warmer responses, right? There you go. Instead of the loot boxes, right? Much warmer reception of, well, yeah, because now if I want to buy the cosmetic, I don't have to pay $10 to see if I get a chance to get it. I just paid $10 for the actual cosmetic, right? So it's more reliable value for the money. In-game spending has become a high-stakes issue in addition to lucrative business. Electronic Arts live service operations made the company $5.6 billion in the most recent quarter, according to the company's latest earnings report. Okay? Obviously, we have another article we'll talk about in a second, right? But the FIFA series, or now FC series and Madden, right? Same game every year. All they do is the roster update, but microtransactions galore, so you can get that 99, that 1% chance to get the 99% guy on your team. Okay. Epic Games, which was created popular Fortnite franchise, took Apple to court over an in-game payment system that the developer released inside Fortnite in order to bypass Apple's App Store fees. Okay. Now think about this. Epic's like, we want to make money like Apple. We can't. So we got to sue Apple to try to open up the Pandora's box so we can get in there so we can make just as much money as them. This is for the players. We're for you, players. Our microtransactions will get to you. Don't worry. They'll get there. In Europe, app stores and so-called loot boxes are a major focus on tech regulatory. Okay? So let's watch this video. Let's watch this video here and see what they have to say here.
The two biggest video game makers in America now most of their money not from people buying games, but on subscriptions and spending within those games.
In fact, Electronic Arts and Take-Two Interactive both make a staggering 75% of their money from what's called microtransactions.
75% of their business is microtransactions.
You've seen examples of this revenue generation from top titles like GTA 5, NBA 2K, and Fortnite. They come in the form of battle passes, membership programs, and virtual currencies. This is all happening despite intense backlash from consumers and critics, and as the cost of developing these games reached staggering levels.
I just find the trend so tacky and wary.
Unfortunately, I'm maxed out of volume and also volume on here, so unless I can... Oh, there it goes. Thought it was all the way up.
Some from toe to tip, but it ain't going anywhere because it sells. In fact, it has been selling.
The revenue model conversation has generated so much attention that parties are now trading high-stakes lawsuits over the issue. Epic Games' Fortnite created its own in-game payment system for microtransactions, and that caused Apple to remove the mobile app from the App Store, ending in a lawsuit and several court proceedings. Apple now has to give its users access to rival payment systems and app stores in the European Union.
There was quite a bit of pushback from especially the very dedicated gaming community, and rightly so in a lot of cases. You know, a lot of those models, the early models, it was tough to get the things you want.
So here's how microtransactions and live services took over the video game.
This right here, this is a problem, right? Helldivers Max, not saying it's right. Helldivers Max is $20, okay? For right now, anyway. Okay, we don't know what they're going to do in the future. But right now, it's $20. $100. You could spend more money in the game itself than a full-price game for a free-to-play game.
Game industry, and why gamers really can't do anything to stop it.
How has microtransactions took over the video game industry?
Microtransactions are any virtual transaction you make inside a video game that costs real money. In Take-Two's NBA 2K, you can purchase virtual currencies for various prices. Buying the Battle Pass in Fortnite each season, or approximately every 3 to 6 months, grants you new skins as well as the ability to purchase its own virtual currency, V-Bucks. The highest-selling console game of all time, GTA 5, allows gamers of GTA Online to purchase a GTA Plus membership.
Here's the thing about Grand Theft Auto. I don't like the currency inside of Grand Theft Auto 5, but if I purchase that game, if I purchase Grand Theft Auto, at the time, $60, right? Back in 2013, okay? You bought the single-player game. You could still play that game. There's no thing bought within that game itself to make that game experience different. There's no microtransactions in the single-player aspect of the game, okay? The free add-on that they had, now you could buy this separately of just the online, but the entry point to get to the online is buy the single player game. You have the single player game, and then you can get into the online, and then by continuing playing online, they sell you stuff. But the game itself, there's nothing in there, right? Nothing in there.
For $5.99 a month.
Prior to, say, 2012, you're looking at 98% or more of content spending being done physically. That all began to change when people started to get more connected. And that allowed publishers to do new and different things beyond just selling a disc, including, not just digital downloads, but also things like subscription services.
In 1971, the video game market was only the computer space arcade game and took in $1 billion in
Check that out. 1978. $1 billion, and it was just the arcade.
revenue. Fast forward to today, and the market's worth $183 billion with various platforms and thousands of games.
Where are we going to be? Where are we going to be if it went from 1 billion to 183 billion in my lifetime, right? In my 45 years, okay, it went from 1 billion to 183 billion. Where's it going to be in 45 more years where hopefully I'll be 90 years old and I'll see it. I'll be like, holy Christ, did they just say a gajillion dollars?
Mobile gaming has played a massive part in the expansion of the industry.
What's driven the growth of the gaming market has been the growth of smartphones. Now in 2023, you've got 80% of the world's population using a smartphone. So
I'm sorry, what did he just say?
the gaming market has been the growth of smartphones. Now in 2023, you've got 80% of the world's population using a smartphone.
80% of the world population is using smartphones. Yeah, but mobile's not a big thing. No one's going to play on mobile, right, guys? You guys always tell me no one's going to play on mobile.
So, we just have, 6 billion plus people with a device that is capable of playing, some kind of game on it. So we're just able to reach so many more people with games today than back in 2007.
The live service models within these mobile games are the cash cows, and now the industry leaders want to bring more and more of that model to console and PC gaming. Live services refers to game publishers' work to continuously provide new content throughout the game's life.
Right, the other 20% is the fucking children under 13 that don't have, right, that don't own one.
Which popular titles like Fortnite, Apex Legends, and League of Legends have.
80-year-old white men who are worth billions are probably not playing mobile games, but their grandkids are. And when their grandkids are billionaires, they'll still be playing mobile games.
And what Michael Packner just said there, okay, I say this all the time. You and me might not play mobile games, but you know what? My 9-year-old kid plays on mobile. And when he's 9 and then becomes 12 and then becomes 15 and then becomes 20 and becomes 30, what do you think the conditioning is, right? We used to know about arcades. We used to go to arcades and play arcades, and then they brought the box in our house, and they conditioned us that games are in our house. Now they're conditioning the kids now that mobile's the way, right? We could be in denial all you want, right? Mobile gaming is the future. These are facts.
And certain executives are banking on it. Take-Two Interactive President and CEO Carl Slatoff and Strauss Zelnick were paid in total $72 million in 2022 after revising their compensation packages to include for bonuses for hitting microtransaction goals.
The microtransaction trend isn't going anywhere, as Electronic Arts brought in $5.6 billion in its latest earning results, highlighting the resilience of the...
Garrett Green says mobile is a completely different market, though. Listen, it is until it isn't. Okay? Arcade was a completely different market than consoles until it wasn't. These are also facts.
This evergreen business model.
Incorporating spend opportunities in paid games
It doesn't mean that the only future, console gaming still exists, two different things. Sure, the record player still exists. The VCR still exists. You could still watch those things. But the market has moved on. The market has moved on. Movie theaters still exist, but the bigger percentage watches movies at home. The bigger percentage doesn't buy DVDs. The bigger percentage doesn't buy vinyl. Still there. They still exist. You're absolutely correct.
Bends the user because they're like, I already paid $70 for the game. Why do you want to charge me more?
This frustration and backlash to in-game purchases is nothing new. It brought controversy in Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion with the infamous horse armor for $2 back in 2006, and it still is today.
Traditional gamers would say, I want to buy a great game in order to play that game. I don't want to feel like I'm being
nickel and dimed, along the way.
After negative feedback before Electronic Arts' release of Star Wars Battlefront 2 in 2017, the company decided against its own iteration of in-game purchases, which many labeled as pay-to-win.
Gamers who buy games have this code, which is kind of not very well thought through, but they hate pay to win.
The Battlefront 2 release was also marred by loot boxes, which are packages of content gamers can buy to enhance their experience via costumes or playable characters. Loot boxes weren't just an issue for gamers. Hawaii's legislature wrote a bill to ban them from video games in the state. Whole countries have altogether...
Right. And because we bitched about the loot boxes, they fixed it. They said, oh, we got you. We won't do loot boxes anymore. We'll just charge you in the game itself.
Ban loot boxes. They believe the loot box has too many ties to gambling.
It's the chance factor. So they have to very clearly state the odds of getting something good, which is generally between 1% and 2%. So in other words, something that costs $1, but you have a 1% chance of getting it, you'll spend $100 to get it.
Yeah, that sounds great.
That you got to do 100 draws. You might get lucky and spend 20 and get lucky, but you got to spend.
There are recent games that have bucked the wave of in-game purchases, mainly console games with a focus on playing a specific role, like IGN's 2023 Game of the Year winner, Baldur's Gate, and PlayStation's blockbuster Spider-Man series. Several of IGN's Game of the Year winners do not have aspects of in-game purchasing outside of downloadable content available for users to buy. However,
you take a single-player game and make it into a multiplayer game. People will spend.
Roic says, you don't think it hasn't moved the console as well? Look at Madden. They put more effort into the pay card system than they do in the actual football game. Right, Roic? That's what I said earlier. I said FIFA and Madden just rinse and repeat the same game. They don't make the game better. They just update the roster for that one chance to get that 99% player on your Madden team or your Ultimate Team.
The backlash towards in-game purchases isn't isolated to just gamers on Reddit.
In the UK, Parliament published a response to a call for evidence in July 2022, detailing exactly how game companies can protect children and adults. Those rules include things like loot boxes should be unavailable to children unless they're enabled by a parent or guardian.
Agreed.
And all players should be aware of spending controls to support safe and responsible gambling.
Agreed. Or, as I like to say, be a parent.
The game industry's response created the UK Interactive Entertainment to enhance player protections in line with the government's response.
Showing what the odds are to get the items that you really want, is a really good one. So we still see those mechanics being used quite a bit across the video game industry, and there's just a lot more transparency around it. And of course, very specific markets have outlawed very specific forms of the loot boxes. So I think the regulations are actually in a pretty good place right now.
Several countries have passed laws with varying degrees of regulation. For example, Italy, South Korea, and the Netherlands require probability disclosures, while an outright ban against loot boxes exists in Belgium. As a result, gaming companies have modified their transaction model over time.
The industry has really moved to more of what they call a battle pass system or some kind of packaging of seasonal content. And that's found a lot more in terms of a warm response than the
Battle passes are still bad, but at the same time, they're better because at least it puts the option in the player's choice of it's cosmetic. And not only do I pay the $10, I get more currency, so then it kind of puts me back into their Emporium or microtransaction store where I'm not throwing $100 at something and then it goes away, right? A lot of the battle passes go away. If they go to more of this warmer model where battle passes come in and there's no FOMO, where they don't leave, like a Helldivers, like a Halo, like I'm not sure if I think Suicide Squad's doing it as well, right? I don't think it's going away either, but we haven't got the battle pass yet. This week we get it, right? We'll see how it works. If they put the games in there where you pay your $10 and you get to earn your actual $10 and you get to pick and choose where you want to put it, that's fantastic. But if it's not that, that's a problem.
The early days of the loot box.
Battle passes are a monetization approach that give gamers the chance to earn skins they normally wouldn't be able to unlock, but can via real-world payments. Fortnite and Call of Duty Warzone excel here. However, these live service games with battle passes require ongoing maintenance, which requires labor and is not cheap to produce. At least one major game publisher told UK regulators in 2023 that a single game and a major franchise cost them more than $1 billion to release.
What game is that? What game is that it costs $1 billion to release? And then how much do they have to make, right? How many copies do they have to sell? Now, is that a free-to-play game or is that a full-price $70 game? That's freaking crazy, right?
Including development and marketing expenses. Microtransactions and subscriptions are a way for video game companies to recoup those staggering development costs.
Now, I have a question. I would love to see. Now, obviously, we're just regular consumers, so they don't really have to show us this, right? But those of you that are stockholders, okay, I would love to know if I could go to that company and look at a breakdown, right? Let's say Grand Theft Auto 6 comes out, and they show me that the marketing and the game itself cost $1 billion. Give me a breakdown, right? I want to see the receipt. Show me the receipt. Because other than that, I don't believe that. Because I could tell you, well, guys, it's really hard to keep these lights on, and if we need to make more money, so I'm going to have to charge you, sorry, per minute. Okay, if you're going to watch this video, I got to charge you per minute. It's only 5 cents. It's only 5 cents to watch per minute, but I have to keep the lights on. It's very expensive. It costs $100 million just to keep this up. The server cost, like, bullshit. Show me the receipts. Show me the receipts that it costs you this much money, that you have to charge $70 for your full game. You got to charge $10 for a battle pass. You have to have a $100 cosmetic in there. You also have the nickel and dime for pennies on the cents to move faster in the game, or extra storage. Show me the cost of how many developers you have, what their salaries are. So I don't care about individual salaries, but the total salary count of what it costs that game over a 5-year development cycle, right? And tell me that it's $1 billion. Show us what it costs to make that game. And then if it costs that much, we'll be like, oh, okay. But nobody does that. They also don't have to, by the way. Okay? They don't have to show us shit because you're just buying a $60, $70 game. By the transaction, you walk away. Okay?
Some of the biggest challenges now, I think, is the cost of development is increasing. So if you're making...
Is it increasing? Because Epic is making Unreal Engine 5, and if everyone goes to Unreal Engine 5, it's easier. Right? It's saving you costs, hence why they're making the development of Unreal Engine, right? Obviously, because Epic's the good guys, right? They're making it so they can make game development easier, so they don't have to take 5 years to make a game. They can take 3 years to make a game.
A large world, a large open world, and you fill that with very detailed characters, and you want to have the best performance capture in there. That takes a lot of skilled workers. Or if you're developing a game, a live game, and you want to update that every day or every week, that again takes a lot of skilled workers.
Games like...
Well, great. I have a question. All right. I worked in the film industry. I work on television series and stuff like that. The budget's really high, right? Well, the offset cost is getting advertisers, right? In like reality world, they eat a bag of chips, and they show those chips or drink a Coke, and they get sponsorship and they get endorsements and stuff like that to offset the cost, because the return in value of television shows, at least old TV, is ads. Ads paid for that type of stuff, right? Now these companies are taking money from outside sources as well. We know this, okay? They're charging us an arm and a leg as well, higher and higher, because $70, they need to raise the price of the games because the games are getting expensive. But they also have to raise the price of microtransactions because games are getting expensive. Right? Everything's getting expensive, but yet, for some strange reason, you have much more successful games that don't cost $500 million to $1 billion coming out that are making boatloads of money. Pal World cost them $6 million. $6 million. $30 game, $35 game. And they sold 25 million copies. Right? So is their next game that come out, they're going to be like, well, we had to pay $500 million. You paid $6 million for your last game with success. Why are you putting the budget up so high?
Fortnite and EA's Ultimate Team require maintenance throughout the course of playing through live services, which are frequent content updates throughout the game's lifecycle. EA's live services brought in a record $1.71 billion in the quarter ending January 30th, but they're costly to manage.
I'm sorry. What did he say there?
Services, which are frequent content updates throughout the game's lifecycle. EA's live services brought in a record $1.71 billion in the quarter ending January 30th, but they're costly to manage, and not all studios are able to bring the live service offerings they had initially planned.
I have a question here. If a game takes 3 to 5 years to make, let's say 5 years to make, but they release it year 3, Okay. 5 years to make, but they release it year 3. And now they update that game for the next 2 years to then not support it after the year 5. The budget for the game is already put. They know it was going to take 5 years to make that game, right? But they released it at year 3 and then released the fixes and changes for the next 2 years to make it a live service game because we respect your time. We hear what you're saying. We're listening. Go to our Discord, okay? They know that this is what's happening, right? We all know that a game that takes 5 years to make, they're releasing it year 3, hence why Battlefield 2042 literally came out broke, buggy, and unfinished. Literally, Cyberpunk took 7 years to create, and yet it took them additional 3 years to fix it. Okay?
Like PlayStation, but have still found success with certain games, like Helldivers 2.
We're really talking about a live service, a living, breathing game that continues for years and years. Grand Theft Auto 5 launched in 2013. It's still one of the most played games 11 years later, and in 2025,
But that's not the single-player game. That's the online version of the game.
Grand Theft Auto 6 is going to come out and be the biggest entertainment launch in history.
The next development to shift the financial footing in gaming is likely to be the shift from owning a copy of the game to being able to use the game through cloud services.
Eventually,
What's that? Did he say cloud gaming?
someday, we make it to the point where cloud-enabled devices will provide a good enough experience where people
There's the word. Good enough experience.
are willing to transition over to cloud-based gaming on a more full-time basis. And when that happens, when you don't have the upfront need of a device, then you might see more and more games dropping the premium upfront in order to really expand.
Oh, is he wrong there? He thinks that because they don't need the upfront cost of the consoles, they're going to lower the price of the video game. Oh, no. No. What they're going to do is they're going to press and push even more because the cloud's expensive. The servers are expensive. We need to raise the price of video games. Are you kidding me? We used to get a physical copy and it cost less than a digital copy. You think the cloud's coming and we're going to get less money? Oh, for God's sakes, this person. Come on now. He doesn't actually believe that, right? Let me rewind that a little bit.
We make it to the point where cloud-enabled devices will provide a good enough experience where people are willing to transition over to cloud-based gaming on a more full-time basis. And when that happens, when you don't have the upfront need of a device, then you
don't need to upfront fee for the device. That's an additional $500 you can spend in microtransactions.
You might see more and more games dropping the premium upfront in order to really expand the appeal of the game.
The appeal of the game is still going to be the same. I find it that they're very naive. I find it that they're very naive to think that they're going to lower the cost of video games because the upfront cost won't be there. Okay? If I can get $50, Kinger did a video a couple weeks ago, okay, about the cake analogy, where if the baker can charge for each chocolate chip, instead of the chocolate chip itself, like the chocolate chip cookie, he could charge for each individual chocolate chip on the thing, what's to stop him? Right? What could stop him? CNBC. People talk about the cloud like it's free. Yeah. No, you're going to be charging, not only are you going to be paying for the higher end internet, right? Because the minimums are going to be lower or higher. Sorry. The minimums are going to be higher for the bit rate, right? And they're going to charge you for that, right? And they're going to take that cost of the video game console and they're going to throw it into the other statement, other section. Don't forget, you're listening to an old man in finance talk about the industry that they said wasn't worth shit. It would not be worth investing in. Right, $185 billion. 83 billion, sorry, 183 billion. I think he meant less upfront games, like $70, more free to play. I know what he meant, Titan. And I'm saying to you, you think they're going to stop charging the $70? You truly believe that there's going to be less $70 games and more free to play games? I know exactly what he meant. Higher internet bill with data caps, increase for your sub services. Yeah. If you think there's going to be more free-to-play games, sure, there's going to be more free-to-play games. There's also going to be more $70 games, right? And they're going to be charging you an arm and a leg for the service because you'll have no choice. Make the problem, sell the solution. If I make a console with no disk drive, you can no longer buy a hard copy of a game. You can only buy it digital. If I make the console with no console, and you can't even buy a console anymore to buy the digital version of the game, you have to get the cloud. Make the problem, sell the solution. It's always the thing. Games are already expensive. See attached microtransaction. Exactly, Jones. The portion of the video focused on games as service, so more subscriptions, less upfront. I understand how it works of what he said, and I'm saying to him and to you now, if you think they're going to charge less money, right? They're never going to go, they don't go backwards. They don't go backwards. They go up. $70 is going to become $80, okay? If you think that there's going to be a free-to-play game, more free-to-play games, if you think the next Spider-Man 3 or Spider-Man, let's say 4 comes out, it's going to be a free-to-play game, you're sadly mistaken. It's going to be a Spider-Man 4 game that's now $80, and it'll be on the cloud where you don't own it. Even if that were true, if there was less than $70 games, it would be a dystopian nightmare, microtransaction and loot boxes. And this is why we always be what it is, because the feeling, even though the fanboys would say they're competing, but all the game businesses is in together. Absolutely. And I've said this, Eclipse. They're all in it together. They're all in it together. Half the games are effectively cloud games and are online only. That's right. It doesn't have to support everyone, Paul. It doesn't have to support everyone, right? It's very simple to do this. Do you want me to break it down how it's going to work? Okay. They'll charge more. Oh, you want a console? Great. Your console is now $700 instead of $500, right? And the small percentage of the people that buy the consoles now, because that's what it is, the small percentage of people buy consoles. The rest, okay, are playing mobile games, okay, mobile devices of gamers. I don't care if a gamer plays Monopoly Go or if a gamer's playing Call of Duty or a Dark Souls game. Doesn't matter. To the companies, those are all gamers. Those are people spending money on things on the screen. That's what I care about. For us, who we think a gamer is, doesn't fucking matter. Doesn't fucking matter. Okay? Right? They don't have to get it. You heard what he said. He said that good enough. The cloud gaming will be good enough for people because the majority of the players, okay, are people that don't care about 60 frames, 120 frames, okay? They don't care about graphics. So it's like, okay, this looks fun. I mean, cloud gaming would never support everyone. It's a pipe dream. How do we think this way when we used to have nothing? There was no airplane. Oh, the Wright brothers, they're never going to get that off 10 feet off the ground. Meanwhile, now there's a jet that flies across the ocean in just a 9 hours with hundreds of people, and there's thousands of them in the air. Never going to happen, right? The internet coming from the satellite that we shot up in the sky with a rocket. To say that it will never support everyone, I just can't imagine that. We're never going to get better than this phone with this cord on it. We have computers in our hands. We're never going to have a fully autonomous... Oh, wait, we do. We're never going to have... Oh, wait, we do. Oh, we're never going to have... Oh, wait, we do. Console's not losing people to mobile. Console has more players than ever. No, that is false. That is false. There's less people buying consoles right now than ever before. Because there's more things to play games on than ever before. The cap for consoles is like 250 million players. What are you talking about? Did you not hear the 6 billion people playing video games? See, you're looking at it from a gamer's perspective. I'm looking from a corporate office perspective. Selling a single-player game and then having it run on a server costs money for a consumer to play it? That's correct. And where do you think that money's going to be going? They're not paying for it on the back end. They're gonna put it forward to you. It's not false. PlayStation is on pace to outsell the PlayStation 4. Oh, for God's sakes. You understand that PlayStation 2 sold 155 million units. How many did the PlayStation 4 sell? Do you want me to look it up? Let me look it up for you. Let's do some quick math here, huh? Do some quick math. PlayStation 2, 155 million units. PlayStation 4, 117. Where's the number? What's bigger? Let's do the greater than, less than. 2000, PlayStation 2, 155 million. PlayStation 4, 2013, 117 million units. Right? I think that's up to 122 now, right? I think it's 122. Okay. Now, PlayStation 5 is at 50 mil. Got a long way to go to get to 155 million. PlayStation 2 kept selling long after PlayStation 3 came out. PlayStation 5 is still doing better than PlayStation 3, PlayStation 4. Hold on a second. Let me get something. Let me get something for you. Let me get it full screen. Okay. You just told me that PlayStation 5 consoles are selling better now than they've ever did before. I show you a number that PlayStation 2 had 155 million, and every PlayStation afterwards sold less than that one. On pace to outsell something. 4 years of complete reset and start again. PlayStation 6. It's a pointless rat race. Get back to me. Get back to me when PlayStation 5 is at the 150 million, and then we'll talk. Do you know why PlayStation sold more than PlayStation 3, which sold more than PlayStation 4, which sold more than PlayStation 5? Is because this has nothing to do with PlayStation, Mo. This is just consoles in general, okay? Because there's less people buying consoles, okay? Because there's a mobile market, right? And the Switch is selling more than the last console, but the total amount of players buying is still the same, 250, because Switch owners are also PlayStation owners. Switch owners are also Xbox owners. Mobile gaming is not gaming. Doesn't matter what you think, Leo. It doesn't matter what I think or you think if it's gaming or not. The people making the games, putting them on the mobile devices, and people making money off of that, the business cares, and those are gamers to them. You're not moving the goalpost at all? You just said more people are buying consoles than ever before, which is 100% false. Which means you're taking Nintendo, Xbox, and PlayStation all combined are outselling what they used to all combined make before, which is 100% false. Yeah, there's more people in the world now too, Paul. More people in the world and less people are buying consoles. So PlayStation 5 outsold PlayStation 4. What the number is now in the process has nothing to do with the total sale. I could have a video hit 1 million views. Does that mean my channel is better than it was? No, that's one video spiking up to a certain point and then flattening out and then never getting any views after that, right? Right now, PlayStation 5 is selling very well. Congratulations, it's selling very well. The fact is, consoles are selling less now than they ever did before. These are facts. It's selling more than the last 2 generations at the very least. Great. You can move the goalposts every you want. Your answer of saying that more people are buying consoles now is false. You're saying, now, if you want to say more people are buying PlayStation specifically, sure. But the console market is Xbox, PlayStation, and Nintendo. And all combined, they are lower than what they all combined the last time they sold a console. Show the numbers. PlayStation, 155 million. PlayStation 4, 117 million. PlayStation 3, 87 million. Right? Right? Sure, PlayStation 4, but let's take it into context here. PlayStation 4 came out in 2013. Well, what also came out in 2013? Oh, there's the Xbox One. 58 million. 58 plus the 117. Okay? And then what else? What else came out then? Oh, the Wii U. The Wii U came out in 2012. We could throw that in. That sold 13.56. Okay? But now let's go back to where the Wii was. The Wii sold 101.63 in 2006. What else came out in that year? Oh, look, there's the PlayStation 3, 87, and 2005, 84. Right? There's 160, 260. Right? Just real quick math. 80 and 80 is 160. We'll give it an extra 10, so it's 170 plus 100. That's 270 million units. In 2022, console game maker cap is about 34 billion. Meanwhile, mobile cap is 884 billion. What we got left? We got... I don't know if I want to do the Toys for Bob article. Xbox has reached the agreement with Crash Bandicoot. And gaming is gaming, whether console, PC, or mobile, which is around the world. More folks playing games mobile. Ink, if you want to throw that in, you're 100% correct. More people are playing video games now. What Green was saying, okay, he said that more people are buying consoles now, which is false. Also, the hardware active install base is dropping. Yes. Water says PC 800 quadrillion. I think Xbox drops the dongle the same holiday as PlayStation 5 Pro drops. I mean, I think they will drop the dongle, whatever the hell they're working on, but I don't know if it'll be. I don't think it'll be this year. I don't think they do it this year. PlayStation only has 34 million active consoles. The rest with the scalpers. Come on, Mo. That's a huge chunk. You're saying 20 million people? 20 million people are missing because of scalpers? What do you want, Ron? How many did the Virtual Boys sold? Do they even have that on the list? Let me see. Let me see. No, Virtual Boy's not even on the list. Yeah, most people nowadays don't even play the games. Often they play. They breaks in, which is using the bathroom, watching a movie, or mobile. Perfect for that. They said, I gotta find it. Hold on, let me see if I can find the actual.
Single player games.
I'm not sure if this is the video or not. This is from 2019. I'm not sure if this is it. Let me see. This is an interview from IGN with Amy Henning, and she says something. So give me. I'm not sure if this is the video or not. So let's watch. It's a short one. It's only 3 minutes.
Are get talked about as, for years now. It's like, oh, they're dying, but then like you get to the end of the year and all the Game of the Year nominees are, many of them are narrative single player experiences, and that's been your forte. You're one of the best in the world at those things. What do you see as single player games' role in the industry moving forward? As games as a service and living games are more and more the chatter.
Right, and then look, this is the thing. I mean, and I could talk about this for much longer than we have, so we should do that. We'll do a part 2. But I think the problem is it's not that single player games are dead, but some of the single player storytelling is less front and center, right? So sometimes you're getting the story aspect sidecard onto a larger experience, right? Or, we say it's a story experience, and it is, but the games are getting so long and sometimes so complex. I mean, look at Red Dead Redemption.
Yeah.
I mean, how many hours does that take to finish?
40 plus minimum.
Right. So how many people are actually going to finish that, right? And this is not a knock on them. It's a beautiful game, right? And so most of us, myself included, will never see the end of that game just because we just don't have time. There's too many other things competing for our time and attention, even outside gaming, right? And so that, as a storyteller, sort of fundamentally sits wrong with me. The idea that our medium just makes it peace with the fact that, like, oh, most people will never actually see the whole arc of the stories we're telling. That's bizarre to me, right? So that the age when
I say that all the time. The fact that people buy a game and then never finish that game is mind-boggling to me.
we could make games that were, I mean, in the non-indie space, right? Make games that are 6 or 8 hours long, don't have any other second modes, don't have a live service, don't have any multiplayer. They're just about this sort of finite crafted interactive narrative experience that, like, sticks the landing and is memorable. That's a harder and harder sell, right?
To a publisher, if not the gamer themselves, right?
Well, right, and I think that's the big question I have, is to the publishers, absolutely, because they're looking, and I don't want to make this sound mercenary on their part, but like they're looking at rising cost of development, takes longer, more people, more money, right? And all of our distribution methods have changed. It's no longer about brick and mortar and putting a box in a store.
Yeah.
So, and I understand the appeal of saying, well, no, we can create a service that people can keep coming back to, as opposed to having a finite experience that maybe feels like it's aping cinema or TV. But it makes it really hard to tell stories that way, right? Like story feels like it becomes. And look, and certainly not for games like God of War and Spider-Man and these things. I mean, story is very important, but it's also sort of counterintuitive that they're still very long, and there's like so many subscreens and open world qualities and all this stuff that makes it that you may never actually see the arc of the story. And so that's why I wonder whether it's like, well, for people like me that are kind of interested in telling finite stories. Is there a better place for us to shift our attention to, whether that's VR, which is why I explored it, and I'm still exploring it, or whether it's looking towards sort of our streaming future?
That's not the video. I would have to find. Let me see if I can find the other one. There's another interview. I forget where it is. That's 2019. We're going to talk with developer Blue. Problem with players. 2019. I could have sworn it was like in 2016.
Single player game.
No, that's the same. There was another video that she had, another article, where she talks. I forget, she was wearing like a white T-shirt, and basically she says that she goes into the specifics of 50% of the players don't finish video games, okay, and it goes all the way down to as high or as low as 10% of people finish a video game, okay? And this is why they have to make games more approachable, okay? And at the same time, they got to make it more approachable, and also they have to cut the costs of what certain things are. And if it's too expensive, if you're getting $1 billion budget on a video game, you need to sell 7 million copies, okay? Like what Spider-Man had to do. And if you can't sell 7 million copies, and you're giving it for a lower price point, so instead of paying $70 for that game, maybe you pay like Helldivers, like a $40 game, okay? But to sell copies now, you have to sell, let's say, 2 million copies, okay? Well, if you can't sell 2 million copies, you gotta then put microtransactions to cover to subsidize the cost of the video game. So you'll make it in the longer run because of microtransactions. Most Game of the Year winner take around 30 hours on an average to complete. Right, but you're always in competition, and the minute population, right? You're talking about 7 million people bought the game. Let's just say 10 million people bought the game, but 5 million people completed the game. All the way as low as 1 million people beat the game, right? So anywhere between, if you sell 10 million copies, okay, 5 million to 1 million people are actually beating that game out of 10 million people that bought the game. How to make Marvel's 1943 shorter and choose whether just to play Captain America or Black Panther side of the story. This is why I think the way she's stating, this was 2019. This has nothing to do with Captain America, 1943 game. Okay, but I think because it's so visually stunning, they're experimenting with that to go, look, we could do all of this with inside this engine, which makes their job easier, right? So one, it makes it look more beautiful. Makes it look more approachable because now it's almost like cinema than it is an actual video game. So other people look at it and go, hey, I know Marvel. Hey, great. I might play this, right? And then they buy it. And then the game is not super difficult. It's just it's a movie game, okay? Doesn't mean the game is bad, but it's just not hard. You're not going to die a lot of many times. No matter what happens, it kind of pushes you through the story and gets you through it. Pushes you through. You buy the game, and you'll be done with that game in about 10 hours. 10 to 12 hours, okay? Because that's what they want. Because if you're spending 10 or 12 hours, a lot of people with short attention span, they stop playing the game before they even get halfway through the game, okay? But if it's interesting and the visuals keep them coming back for the normies, right? Not for the gamers, for the normies, because the gamers are going to buy the game regardless, okay? The percentage of gamers are going to buy the game, but how do they reach out to other people? They want to reach out to other people by the graphics, and then they're like, oh, wow, this is good. Then the story brings people in, okay? And then they can just press X, or they move the controller. The combat's not difficult in any way, shape, or form. You spend 5 minutes, 3 to 5 minutes fighting a boss, maybe, okay? Real easy to do, and then you move on to the next thing, next story beat. Or make it an episodic, short recap intro. Well, you could do what Telltale did, or Telltale, right? With the Walking Dead stuff, right? They did episodic type of stuff. It's exactly what it is. It's more of a cinematic book reading, right? Like choose your own adventure type of stuff. Right, there you go, Paul. Right? And that's exactly what it is. Smaller amounts of money. The game is a full game, but they broke it up, and they charge you $10, $15, $20 instead of charging you $70. What's going on, Lurker? Oh, look, we're not solving a problem. We're talking about Amy Hennig. We talked about in another interview, but I can't find. I'll try to find it off stream and then bring it up another later date. But she talked about how between 10 and 50% of people finish a game. Okay, and we talked about this before that interview even came back, right? Where we look at the achievement list, Hogwarts Legacy, you're like 47% of the people got to this point of the game, which is not even the end game. You're like, how do people spend $70 and 50% or less beat the actual game, all the way down to 10%? Okay, complete the game. So that's what we're talking about right now. Saint says Hogwarts, but even in that game, had a little too much open worldness. If you just play the main quest, you could do the main quest and be done with that game. I believe it's like 12 hours, if I'm not mistaken. Like between 10 and 15 hours. But if you did all the side missions and stuff like that, you're going into 40, 50, 60 hours for sure. But charge a full 70. Absolutely. Absolutely, Titan. That game's going to cost 70. That's a $70 game. In my opinion, 1943, 100% a $70 game. I think it has more to do with the state of the industry. Most people are getting their dopamine drops from their live service game. I think what happens is, look, we talk about this all the time on this channel, right? You watching me right now, how many of you are just watching me? And how many right now are surfing the phone or have another window open or you're working, right? I doubt the percentage of you are just watching me. Very small percentage. Everybody else is doing something else while listening or watching me. Okay? That's exactly how games are. We're all competing for time. Okay? The television show, the movie, the video game, the magazine, your phone, television, they're all competing for your time. We all have the exact same amount of time in the day, and we all have, right? We all have that finite amount of time. So you have to multitask, right? There you go. See, al dente. I'm working and playing on my phone while listening to you. Right. Paul says I'm on the third monitor. RPG says I'm working and lurking, working, right? So this is exactly the thing, right? So how do you keep a dad or a mom that works a full-time job, then you come home, they got to do their life stuff, right? That's still competing with your game time. That's still competing with your television time. That's still competing with your bathroom time. Whatever. Okay? And then you sit down. Kids are in bed, right? Or they're doing their own thing. You sit down. Your husband or wife's not bothering you to take out the trash or cook dinner. Okay? And you just sit there and then you start playing a game, right? You get in maybe 45 minutes to an hour. You start playing and you're like, yeah, you know what? This is good. Now the game takes 40 hours to complete. You probably won't ever finish that game. You'll play 10, 15, 20 hours for the majority of people, and they're like, yeah, it's a great game. I just don't have time. I just don't have time. Another game came out. another game came out. Right? We're talking about that game, so now I'm going to purchase that game. Chris says, yeah, I'm watching and listening while you're making live art. There you go. Oh, I appreciate it, House. I appreciate that. I'm working. I couldn't be on my phone. Well, the best way to target them people is with mobile gaming. Mobile gaming, if you can make a game and you can check in, check your cards, check your characters, do a quick mission, takes like 3 minutes while you're sitting on the toilet, sitting in the doctor's office, sitting on the couch, watching TV, you just pull it up and you start playing a game. That's exactly what it is. RPG88 says, Dragon's Dogma 2. I'm 26 hours in and one of my favorite games ever. That's awesome. That's awesome. If a mobile game were more like console games, I would be interested. Not many features complete. Pay one when games are. The problem with mobile games is the older we get, the less that we want to look at it and squint at a screen, right? Plus, when you're playing on mobile, our thumbs take up a pretty good portion of the screen when you're doing it, right? So this is why they sell the backbone and other things like that. It takes up a huge amount of space. Us old guys don't want to do that. We have money now, right? We want to get the biggest goddamn television there is, right? I want a nice controller. I don't want to grip it like this when I'm playing the Switch. I want a nice controller that I'm playing, right? But that's just it. We're not the market that the companies are going for. They're just maintaining us, right? They're just maintaining us. They're going for the younger kids to condition them that this is normal. Saint says, I'm going to say this. If the game even remotely feels like a chore or a job, I'm going to leave it. What, you don't want to check in? Today, you got to do, don't forget to take out the trash. Don't forget to take out the garbage. Don't forget to mow the lawn. You don't like doing those types of things, Saint? RPG says 75-inch for our old eyes. That's exactly. Minimum 52, right? Minimum 52. House says if FromSoft starts to sell microtransactions, I might have to quit gaming. Nope, exactly. I will never play a mobile on Switch, always docked. And I get it, right? You guys are around the same age as me, right? I'm the same way. I don't like playing on mobile, but I'm also not denying that mobile gaming is not the future, right? My son, when I see my son and my nephew and their friends, we went to someone's house a couple weeks ago. There was like 15 kids all hanging out, right? They all got their tablets and whatever else out, and they all just started playing. Nobody, not one time, went, oh man, I can't see anything. They were everything. They were, boom, focused, playing. They don't care. They don't care. I can't play on the Switch, right? I can't. Here's my problem. I can't play the Switch because the screen's too small. When I dock it, I can't play the Switch because the controller's too small, right? I got to have controller in each hand or use a Pro controller. Right? I had 12-inch screen when I was black and white when I was a kid. I don't want to play on a 12-inch screen now. The best part, I could do both. Absolutely. RPG says, I use a 32-inch 120-hertz monitor for COD, though. But I'm a foot from the screen, so... right, so you're like this. You're like right up. You're like, wow, this is fantastic. This is a huge screen. No, I like the Switch when it's docked, and I play with the controller. I hate when I play the Switch when it's docked, and my son hands me the small little controller. I gotta crimp that thing. Gotta crimp it. My hand starts to cramp up, literally, because when I play Mario Kart and you have that little controller, you're like, you're doing the power slide. You have to power slide, otherwise you have no competition, right? So it's a pain in the ass. You have to put it in a controller. Let me ask, how many parents gave your kids your phone and then you'll know what they can do? Yeah. My son, he doesn't use our phones. He doesn't have a phone, but he uses he's got a Switch and he's got his iPad. He's been playing iPad Minecraft since he was almost 4, like 3.5, 4 years old. If you see my son play Minecraft on the tablet, you'd be amazed. Like if you were playing next to him on the same screen, you're just watching his character build stuff and do stuff, you would think he's sitting at a mouse and keyboard. Okay, he is extremely fast, right? Extremely fast on the iPad to build and to delete stuff. It's crazy. I want a 4K monitor that's at least 32 inches, but damn, they're expensive. The next purchase I want to get for my stream setup is a camera. I want to get a new camera, better camera. And then the one after that, maybe a year or so down the road, I want to get rid of, I have two 27-inch monitors. They're starting to go. I want to get one big super wide. But they are expensive. Use my Switch dock and use a bigger controller. Oh yeah, then there's the high res OLED. Gotta be. There you go, House. Gotta be OLED. All I want is to jack in my computer via a huge spike a la Matrix. Just like, all right, guys. You guys need me for anything? No? All right. That's it. You're in. You're in. Did you see the guy that got the neurochip in his head? The first person, he's a handicapped guy. They put the Neuralink chip into his brain, and now he's playing chess. And they interviewed him. And they're like, "Well, how is it?" He's like, "It's amazing. It's like me using the Force to play chess now, right?" That's crazy. Okay, that's crazy. He's playing Mario Kart now. Now, Paul, didn't you just say that that cloud gaming is never going to be the main thing? Meanwhile, we're having a conversation about a guy moving games with his brain, right? Didn't you say that it was they're never gonna have that? But now we're having a conversation about a guy moving stuff with his brain. That's not cloud gaming, though. The point is technology, man. That's my point. I would sign up for Neuralink, but I'm afraid I'm going to be putting my pop-out ads and charge a subscription. Oh, man. Can you imagine? Oh, my God. Like, you didn't get anything. I'm talking about technology. Hence why I said the Wright brothers are never going to get that thing to fly. Can you imagine you have a Neuralink chip, and they're like, oh, hold on a second. You're having a conversation with someone, and you have a stop in mid. You're like, yeah, I went to the store. Hold on a second. Sorry, a commercial played. Like, what? Oh, yeah, I got the Neuralink, but I couldn't make the payments. So I have the ad version of it. And you're like, oh, you have the ad version of the Neuralink. Saint says cloud gaming will happen before all electric cars. You're saying all electric cars, like everyone electric cars? Is that what you're saying, Saint? I just want to make sure. You're saying everyone have electric cars. I think that'll be the same exact thing, though, as just like record players and consoles. Consoles will never go away completely. Record players will never go away completely. Gas cars will never go away completely. Dante says, it's fun to think that technology... Remember, the 360 had the other version, hid discs, hide discs, and then PlayStation 3 had Blu-ray. Right. Yeah, I don't think we'll ever get to the point. And again, I don't think we'll all go cloud gaming. I don't think it'll all be cloud gaming. I never said it'll be all cloud gaming. I just said that'll be the majority. That'll be the bigger pie. I see more people with electric cars outside of people using cloud gaming. I just don't. There's just so many. There's so many people that have gas cars that love gas cars. I mean, down the road, maybe in my lifetime, they would have to pry cars out of people's dead hands. You know what I'm saying? The problem with electric cars, completely changed the subject. If everyone had an electric car, then everything would be fine. But there'd also be a lot of problems because less people would have issues. There would be less car wrecks. Less people going to the hospital and stuff like that, which makes less, you know what I mean? It goes down the road. But if you have one electric car, or if you have all electric cars and one gas car swerving in and out of the traffic, that causes the problem for all the electric cars, right? So it'll be interesting to see what happens in the future. Electric cars aren't taking over. They're literally failing the market right now because of the ability of range. You've got like 20 years. Tech to mature. Yeah, I think there's a space for it, but I don't know about taking it over completely. I don't think anything's over completely. Now the real question is the Neuralink pay to win? If you got the Neuralink chip, are you paying to win life? If I can play games now without even picking up a controller. They have to stop selling gas cars first. Yeah, but even if they stop selling gas cars, Jones, there'll be some guy that is a private dealership that sells gas cars. It would be like limited run games. Printing games on a limited run. It'd be gas cars, limited run. Well, right, Titan, right? Make the problem, then sell the solution. The problem would be stop giving gas. The solution is, well, you can buy an electric car. Oh, of course, Jones. We're talking if and when it happens. All right, so let me run down a little bit what we're doing this week. Tonight, I'm not sure what we're playing. I'll figure something out for tonight. Tomorrow night, we're playing Snow Day. All right, tomorrow night, Tuesday night, we're playing Snow Day. We could play more Snow Day down the road. All depends on, if you guys like it and whatnot. We play it, but we were playing that, and that was gifted by El Nina. Gifted that to me, so we'll be playing that tomorrow evening. We have a podcast Thursday night, Generation X Gaming, episode 389, I believe, is this week. We have uploads throughout the week. The topics I just covered here will also come out throughout this week. So if you missed any part of the show, you can watch the individual, or you can watch the entire show in its entirety. On Thursday morning, we'll probably not do a news show unless something breaks that we have to cover. Okay? Yeah, Snow Day is the South Park game, Roic. Yeah. Thursday morning, we're going to be playing, as long as everything works correctly, we're going to play the Suicide Squad update. We're going to play in the morning. Instead of doing this, we're going to be playing, what's it called? Suicide Squad, the Joker edition, or the Season 1. Okay, so we'll check that out as well. Other things is that I am playing Dragon Dogma 2, okay, but I'm playing off stream. I have an idea of mine that I wanted to do with Starfield, but I couldn't do it live. So I'm going to be playing Dragon Dogma 2 in my spare time. I'm not uploading anything soon, okay? But I'm playing Dragon Dogma 2, and I will do uploads, okay? Uploads on my 30 and Still Gaming channel. That'll happen a little bit down the road. When those start to air, I will then live stream Dragon Dogma 2 when I'm know what the hell I'm doing and whatnot down the road. All right, so Oh, I gotta play now. IGN gave Snow Day a 3 out of 10. Oh, well then it's probably gonna be one of my favorite games then. Right? Probably gonna be one of my favorite games. I loved. What did they give the other ones? Now that I want to know. Let's see. I can't recommend anyone waste their time or cooperative lost cause on South Park Snow Day. Okay. What did they give Stick of Truth? Stick of Truth got a 9 out of 10. Fractured But Whole got 8.5 out of 10. So I wonder what's really bad about Snow Day. But we'll play it tomorrow night. We're going to be playing tomorrow night. Multiplayer outlets have said it's awful. Only 5 hours long. Oh, cool. Well, maybe then we'll complete it in one go then. I told Elle when they bought it for me, I said, if the game's shit, you'll get one stream from me. You'll get one stream from me. So, guys, if you guys want to play it, wait for me to play it. You guys can ask questions. You can see it in live in action. I don't think it's turn-based like the last games. No. I mean, it's a $30 game. If they expect it to look awesome. I've been watching people play it all day. I don't know, Eclipse. You know, expectations. That's our rule this year, right? What's your expectation? I have no expectations for South Park. I had zero expectations. I wasn't even going to pick it up, which I didn't, until El Nini purchased it for me and said, I want to buy it for you. I was like, all right, cool. Well, I'll give you the day. I'll give you that day. And if I like it, then it is what it is. I'm not even sure. Here, South Park Snow Day. South Park Snow Day is an upcoming action-adventure video game developed by Question LLC and published by THQ Nordic, associated with South Park Digital Studios, scheduled to be released on March 26th. Yeah, it's an action-adventure. Action-adventure. Oh, I didn't get any content footage of it, but I played this game Sworn this weekend. It was a beta going on. Let's see. They have. I didn't play it. Here, we'll just watch this real fast. There's the. I didn't play it multiplayer with anybody. I actually liked the game though. It was actually quite fun. It was a free demo this weekend. Asmongold interviewed them. Waterbear shared the link with me and whatnot. You can play co-op up to 4 players with this game. There's I believe there's 4 playable characters in the demo. I think there's going to be 6 players total. Different classes, different types of abilities. So you have your RB, LB as an attack. You have right trigger. I think left trigger did something. You unlock, and it's a roguelike. It's a roguelike. And it gets pretty difficult. So you could pick the harder difficulty each time you go through a door, right? So at the end of the mission, it splits off into 2 segments. Okay, there's one that's just like a normal difficulty, and then there's one with a door that has like a skull on it. Then you get to the boss after you go through a couple of levels, right? So there's an easy mode, and then there's the hard mode. They're taking the easy track on this particular one. Yeah, there's co-op involved. I actually liked it. I don't know when the game actually comes out. I was kind of bummed that they took it out. I don't think you can play it anymore. Maybe you can. If it's still up there, if it's a demo, go sign up to their and test it out. It's actually, I like the art style of it. I like the gameplay of it. It's actually a lot of fun. I wanted to play co-op, but if I can't play anymore, then you know, too sad. See, so it's random. You don't know what it is, and they go in, and there's different types of currency in game. And then once you're done with the currency in the game, you collect it throughout each of the boards. Once you die, you go back to the hub, and in the hub, you can spend the things on different skill trees around the thing. Right? There's a health one, a battle one, a treasure one. So lots of replayability in this game. Okay. And I played maybe about an hour and a half to 2 hours, and I unlocked 3 of the players of the 4. I unlocked 2 of the complete weapons and classes for each of the first 2 guys. So you get a lot of stuff. Now, I don't know if it's going to be like that when the game comes out. I have no idea. I think it's a paid game. It's not a free-to-play game when it comes out. And I think they're going to talk about it later this year. So either this year or early next year it comes out. It's actually pretty good. Called Sworn. So on that note, you know what? If I can play that tonight, I'll play that tonight on stream if it's able to play. I don't think it is though. Yeah, but see, you have different perks you're picking up when you level up. Right? So you can pick what you want. They're going with dash. Yeah, they're going with dash. So now when he dashes, does some sort of purple haze thing. And then you can start using your energy. And you can pick the hard side or the easy side. Oh, did they extend it to the 31st? All right, cool. We'll play that tonight then. We'll play Sworn tonight. That's what we'll do. Easy then. Yeah, I had fun with this game. Yeah, I enjoyed this. I wasn't part of their Discord. Awesome. Thanks for the news. Yeah, so we'll play this tonight. We'll play Sworn tonight on stream. Tomorrow night we'll play Snow Day. And Wednesday will be open. We might play with Sarge on Division 2. All right, with that, I am done for the afternoon. I appreciate it very much. You guys, make sure you hit that like button. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. I appreciate you guys coming out and hanging out with us. Like this, again, please support what you like. And in that, you don't have to do it monetarily. You can just hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. If you'd like to go above and beyond that, become a member as little as $5. We do live streams. We do uploads. We do podcasts. We have a 30 and Still Gaming gameplay channel. And we also have a Nerding with 30 channel. Lots of different stuff. Appreciate it very much. And I'll see you guys on the next one. Have a great rest of your day. Peace.